They lie to you about the mountain, the one you have to climb to love someone deeply. It's not all joy and flowers on the path to the top. We are told from the moment we decide to bring a life into this world that parenting is an addition, that it will teach us strength, that it's a surplus of joy, a bonus to our existence. Being a parent and being married is what you're meant to do. We are sold the postcard version of the climb, the sunny peaks, the fresh air, the feeling of conquest. This is a simplified version of advertising for a more complex scenario. No one hands you the map to the peak. No one explains that the moment you sign up for this climb, you're agreeing to a slow, methodical destruction of who you used to be, the freedom you used to possess, the time you used to spend on personal projects, and the deep sleep needed to recharge your brain at night. To become a parent or a partner or a spouse is to voluntarily endure a kind of altitude sickness, a kind of beautiful but hard enduring marathon that feels light and heavy simultaneously. You lose your breath, you lose your sleep, you lose the clarity of your own identity, all in the sacrifice of the greater good. So let's start with the truth for a change. The mountain is not your friend. It doesn't care about your feelings. The terrain is indifferent to your fatigue and weaknesses. And yet, we line up at base camp, millions of us strapping on our boots with a smile, with the clear thoughts of winning the feat of our lives. And why do we choose the burden? Why do we bind ourselves to another person, a spouse, a child, when we know that the higher we climb, the further we have to fall, and the bigger the weight we carry, the easier it is to fall off the ridge? And the most terrifying question of all, is the view at the top actually worth the frostbite it takes to get there? With faith, I'd like to say, of course, but I don't have the answer yet. I'm still figuring this climb out, and neither do you, I'm sure. But we have to start walking to find out. The adventure is worth the risk. Nearly 5 years ago, I stood at the base for the first time. I was naive. I looked up and I could see the summit. I thought, I can carry this pack. I'm strong. I don't need an extra bottle of water. The early trails are deceptive. They're paved with novelty. The first daddy, the first anniversary, the quiet mornings where the sun hits the nursery floor just right, the first night they sleep the entirety with no night cries. It feels like a hike, it feels like leisure, and in some instances it is, but gravity is patient. As the elevation rises, the air thins, and suddenly you realize you aren't just climbing for yourself, you're tethered. You have to drag your loved ones with you. And this is the part of love that poetry often skips, but philosophy understands. To be tethered to another human being is a terrifying limitation. It grounds you in so many different ways at once. When you love a partner deeply, you hand them the other end of the rope. If they stumble, the rope burns in your hands. If they stop moving, you cannot go on without dragging them. And if you fall, you threaten to pull them in to the abyss with you. We resent the weight sometimes. We doubt our life decisions. There are moments, dark, private moments we don't post online, where we wish we could untie the knot. We wish we had never started the climb together in the first place, where we look at the freedom of the solitary valley below and wish we were back there, alone, safe, unburdened, without the responsibility of the climb, without the limitation of the baggage, but the knot holds strong, and through hardship tightens and strengthens the bond. Here's the paradox that breaks us. True love is not just affection, it's not just romance. True love is a form of suffering, a form of self-restriction and eternal compromise with your younger self. This is why in many ways you do not truly grow up until you become a parent. To love a child is to agree to walk around with your heart beating outside of your chest, exposed to the elements, with no ribcage to protect it. To be eternally worried and equally enamored with a being that is more important than you and that you'll protect and fight for until death. You watch them sleep and you don't just feel peace, you're scared, you feel terror. I can remember how many times I checked my child's breath when they were sleeping calmly in their cot. The world is waiting for them, and that scares you immensely. The bullies, the heartbreaks in their love life, the illnesses, the mistakes you cannot stop them from making, and will even blame yourself for letting them make. You realize that the higher you carry them up the mountain, the more dangerous the drop becomes. But within us, there is a voice that urges us to stride confidently, that assures us that we have the strength to make them capable of anything they want to achieve. We hurt because we care. The pain is the receipt for love. You cannot have one without the other. If you didn't care, the wind wouldn't bite. It would just be another sun-kissed morning walk into nursery. If you didn't love your spouse, their silence wouldn't deafen you. Their tears wouldn't feel heavier than your own. If you didn't adore your child, their pain wouldn't cripple you. It wouldn't chip away at your heart like the eroding stone on the rocky mountain you're climbing. This is the false summit, the point where you think you can't take another step, where the logic of the brain says, turn back, it hurts too much, it's too hard, but the only way is up now. You don't turn back. Why? We don't turn back because of the Alpen Glow. The magic hour, named errantly by photographers, is more like a few minutes of perfect light if you try to capture it with a camera. Because amidst this freezing wind and the burning lungs, there are moments of such piercing beauty that they rewrite the struggle. All that is profoundly good will outweigh what is bad. The simplest and most mundane scenarios will become life-changing and thought-provoking memories of the climb. Remember the question I asked at the start? Is the view worth the frostbite? The answer isn't yes. The answer is there is no view without the climb. The view is the climb. If you do not adventure on the climb, you will not experience the newly developed perspective. And like any transcendent life-changing experience, it will open new avenues in yourself that did not exist before. We were wrong to look for the summit. It is not the final aim. Parenting, marriage, family, it isn't about planting the flag at the top and surviving victorious. Because the truth is, there is no top. The mountain goes on forever. Because when you pass away, your children and their children will continue climbing it in your name. The goal was never to finish. The goal was to endure it together, to make each other stronger through the adventure that we call life. The tragedy is not that the mountain is hard. The tragedy is that we spend the whole climb looking at our boots, cursing the rocks, waiting for it to be over, complaining about the effort. We treat these years as an obstacle to be overcome rather than life itself. And one day the rope will go slack and they will climb their own peak on a different range, and you will stand there in the quiet, missing the weight of the pack, missing the moments of hardship that your brain shapes into stunning moments of beauty that make life. You will miss the heaviness, you will miss the struggle, because the struggle was the proof that you were together, and the struggle was what made you stronger, and it is what made you a family. Do not wish for an easier mountain. Do not wish away the cold. The frostbite proves you were here. The shortness of breath proves you're alive. The fear proves you have something worth losing. So take a deep breath, look at the people on your rope and keep climbing. Loving deeply is hard at most times, but it is totally worth the pain for making memories that write your story. So what are your thoughts about parenting and loving someone so much it hurts? Did you ever feel like this? Or are you staying at the lonely valley for a bit to figure out the next climb? Make sure to write your thoughts on the comments below and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I will answer all your comments. And if you like this video, you can also make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you do not miss my next release every Friday, where I talk about film, thinking and culture. And if you enjoyed this, you might want to check out my other video here, where I talk about how sweat, tears and the sea can heal many of our pains in our daily lives. So that is a wrap for this one, but I'll see you on the next one.